Hi, everyone. Welcome to today's webinar on automations. We're glad to have you join us. Gagandeep, our Customer Success Manager, will provide you with some helpful tips to make the most of Maropost automation features.
Hello, everyone. My name is Gagandeep Singh. I am the Customer Success Manager with Maropost. Just would like to go ahead and give you a big round of introduction for me. I've been with Maropost for over 3 years now, out of which 2 years I've spent with the customer support team, where I have learned the in-depth knowledge of, or rather, I've gathered the in-depth knowledge of the Maropost automations and everything. And the webinar today is the advanced version of the webinar that was presented last time by the success team with Catherine and everything. So last time you guys went ahead and learned about a quick walkthrough of how to create an automation, all right? And the common automations that are being set up by Maropost users, like the welcome series, the re-engagement series, or the prospect to member journeys and everything. Now, in this specific webinar, what I'm going to offer or what I'm going to talk about is the various type of automations that are being offered or that are on offer by Maropost. Then which elements to use for your automations, when to use the elements, and how to go ahead and do those elements and I will be talking about these elements while a live walkthrough of the elements within an automation on the Maropost UI. So Maropost offers two type of automations. The first is journeys, and the second is data journeys. Now, the difference in between these two is journeys are designed to send automated messages, or you can say to go ahead and take them through a flow of an automated process on an individual contact basis. Like, for example, when we talk about a welcome series, right? So a contact comes into your list, or I'll say he signs up on your website. They get subscribed to a list, and from there they start the welcome series. So as and when a contact subscribes, he starts that process. So individual contact basis. Whereas when we talk about data journeys, these are designed to go ahead and perform actions on bulk contacts, a management of bulk data. Like when you are importing a huge list, what should happen with that list? In order to automate that imports, and that's when we use the data journeys. Now, when we talk about journeys, in order to start the journeys, you need triggers. Now, triggers are the rules using which a contact will start a specified or a specific automation process, or when we talk about automation will start. Now, based on the journeys and data journeys, there are various triggers. So I'm going to move to the UI now to go ahead and show you various triggers and what all these triggers have in them. So when we talk about this is a journey, all right, a normal journey where the contacts will go ahead and enter on an individual basis. So the first trigger that we have in journeys is new subscription. Over here, this is, again, as I was talking earlier, when you start a welcome series. So new subscription trigger is the best to go ahead and engage with a new contact that is subscribing in your list. So that's how this works. You just need to select a specific list, and the contact will start getting or else the contact will start the flow of the journey. On top of that, you can go ahead and select multiple lists over here. So if you have multiple lists and you just want to go ahead and send an automated welcome email, so you can select multiple lists and then click on save. It will go ahead and whenever a contact gets subscribed to the specified list, he will start the automation process. Then the second trigger that we have is the campaign opened. So you can go ahead and select a specific campaign over here. And again, this is again a comma separated value where you can go ahead and define multiple campaigns. And you just need to go ahead and mention the campaign ID. So whenever you create a campaign in Maropost, there's a campaign ID associated with that campaign. Mention those campaign IDs with comma separated values, and whenever a contact opens that specific campaign, it will start the automation process. Similarly, we have the process for link click. You just go ahead and click, so you can go ahead and select the campaigns again, or you can go ahead and specify the URL that is mentioned in the campaign itself. So it will go ahead and do that. Or you can go ahead and select it for the preference management pages, which you go ahead and select in your footer. So if they go ahead and select a specific footer in there, or the rather say they go ahead and click on a link in the footer, so it will start the process. Or what you can do is you can go ahead and trigger for any links clicked. So in that way, you do not have to select anything. You don't have to mention any specific preference management page or the campaigns. Just choose it. So whenever a contact clicks in on any link within your email, he will get triggered into the automation. Then comes the product purchase. The product purchase, again, you have, for example, this is basically for, you can say this is for the people who are, rather say, selling online courses, or they are going ahead and selling subscriptions for newsletters or anything. So you can go ahead and select the specific product that is already created in Maropost. Select the specific order status. If you do not mention the order status, so whatever order status it is there, whenever an order gets created for that specific product, it will trigger the contacts. And then you can also go ahead and trigger for all products. If it's just a normal thank you email that you need to send to your contacts, and your e-commerce platform does not allow that, so you can go ahead and send a thank you email from here. Then it's the total revenue. With the total revenue, you just need to go and specify the value over here. For example, there could be a possibility where you want to go ahead and trigger a thank you email, or you want to go ahead and give a bonus, or you want to go ahead and give a gift coupon to your contacts who have made a certain amount of purchase with you. For example, let's say they have made $1,000 purchase with you. Now you want to go ahead and give them some loyalty or anything like that. So you can go ahead and use this trigger for that automation, and then send them a automated email with a unique coupon code or something like that to go ahead and give them some extra discounts. Then coming to the form event, whenever now this is for whenever as you know, in Maropost you can go ahead and create sign up forms. So whenever a user submits a form, or whenever it is done, you can go ahead and select that specific form here, and whenever that form is submitted, the automation will trigger. Now the API event, this is basically for advanced users. So whenever an API, you can go ahead and trigger the journeys or data journeys. So this trigger is common in between both journeys as well as data journeys, to go and trigger those. So you can go ahead and trigger for the journeys, you have the options to go ahead and manually trigger contacts via the API event. So it could be for using the contact ID, using the contact email address, or you can go ahead and trigger the contacts that are present in a specific relational table where the table name is and the user ID is. So you can go ahead and do that as well. Then comes to a segment event. This specific trigger is basically used, or as a majorly used, when we are going ahead and starting a re-engagement series, or where we want to go ahead and start an automation process for a specific set of contacts. All right. So so before you go setting up this kind of a journey, you go ahead and create a segment first, then come to start creating a journey, select this specific trigger, and then select a specific segment, whichever segment you want to go ahead and choose, whatever you have created, select that name, and then select the frequency. When should this journey trigger that segment to pull in contacts on a regular basis? All right. So whether it's going to be every day, whether it's going to be only on specific days of a week, you can go ahead and do that. Then you can go ahead and select the hours of the day when the journeys should go ahead and look for the contacts in that specific segment, any new contacts which got added to the segment and everything. Now you can go ahead and select up to 8 slots, all right? With whenever you select a slot, there should be a time gap of at least 2 hours in between those slots. So that's how you go ahead and select the segment event trigger. And then we come to the contact field updated. Now, this trigger works on the basis of the custom fields that you've created within your Maropost account. So you could go ahead and select the specific fields, like even the default fields as well, like email, first name, and last name. Along with it, you can go ahead and select any custom field, right? So whenever any of these fields are, or their information get updated, which is stored in that, it will trigger the automation, or you will trigger that specific journey for that contact. Similarly, for the table field updated, you could go ahead and select the specific table along with the specific column that gets updated. And as well as what you can do is you can also go ahead and trigger the journeys for contacts who gets added to your relational tables for the first time. All right. So whenever a record is created within a table and you just select this specific table over here, it will start the automation process for that. This is majorly for the people who are using relational tables, that it's for those people. Then comes the subscription changed. There is a possibility you have multiple lists in your account, a contact gets unsubscribed from a list, or as you have sent them a campaign to a specific list, they unsubscribe from it, and you want to make sure they do not go ahead and get multiple emails from other lists or from the same account again and again. So in that scenario, you can go ahead and choose this option, subscription changed, and then select the specific list in which the contact subscription gets changed. Then you can go ahead and design the flow from there. So whatever you want to go with, whether you want to go ahead and again unsubscribe the contact in multiple lists, or you want to go ahead and change a specific field for the contact, that is again into actions. Then comes the trigger that is named tag event. This specific trigger works on the contact tags that we create in Maropost to identify, or you can say to go ahead and group contacts into a specific tag. For example, let's say a contact has purchased a product, all right, and it's the first time for a purchase. You go ahead and tag the contact with that specific purchase. That's how, so it gets added with that tag. So whenever a tag is added or removed from a contact, this trigger will pick up that contact and start the automation or the journey for that contact. Then the last trigger that we have for the journeys is web page event. This is basically used for using this. You need to have the web tracking set up in your Maropost account, and the web tracking script needs to be present on your website. So once that is done, you can go ahead and select the specific pages. So whenever a contact views a page on your website, it will start the journey. If they click a link on your website, they will start a journey. Or they go ahead and enter a specific funnel that you have added, like abandoned funnel, or they complete a funnel. So you can go and select the funnels over here. You can go and select the star, like the first you go and select your website, then select the funnel name, whether it starts with or it's equal to the exact funnel name, and then select the status, whether it's abandoned, recovered, or completed. It will start the automation for that. So these were the triggers for the journeys. Now let's go to the triggers for the data journeys. For data journeys, we have triggers like scheduled. The first trigger is scheduled, where you want to go ahead and trigger the data journey only once. So that's you just want to trigger it once. That is when it is used. Recurring, where you want that journey to go ahead and, or rather say data journey to trigger again and again. This is majorly used for going ahead and doing imports into your lists. So you have a FTP, Maropost provides an FTP folder. You go ahead and drop a file, a CSV file onto the FTP folder, and from there you go ahead and create this, I'll say, create this data journey to pick up that file and bring that import into Maropost lists. That is one use. Then secondly, you can also use this for going ahead and sending newsletters to a specific list based on these requirements. So either it could be weekly, on a specific day on a week, or you can go and select the dates. Similarly, this can again be triggered up to 8 slots in a given day, or the given schedule, with a gap of 2 hours in between each slot. Then comes the import finished. Whenever, let's say you've started an import gets finished, you want it to go ahead and do extra things in your account. For example, maybe when import finished, you want to go and send that information, or you can say you want to go and refresh the counts of your list. Sometimes it takes time to go and refresh the count of the list. So you import finished, refresh count, and then end the journey, end the data journey. That's how it's going to be used. Export finished, whenever you export something, let's say you export a specific segment, or you export a specific list, you can go ahead and trigger the data journey using that export. Campaign sent, whenever campaign is sent, you can just go ahead and select, again, starts with, ends with, like. You can go and select, and you just need to go ahead and mention the name of the campaign. Whenever the campaign is sent, the data journey will get triggered. Report generated. Now, there are a lot of times when you want these reports to be exported out of Maropost automatically, rather coming to Maropost and then downloading it for yourself. So similarly, what you can do is you can go ahead and create a recurring report. So whenever the report gets generated, you can, along with it, you can go ahead and create a data journey to export that file up to your FTP folder, and then you can get it done. File uploaded. It's again, as I said, for going ahead and importing the big files into lists automatically. So whenever you upload a file on the FTP folder from Maropost, it will start the data journey process. Again, the API event, as I said, this is specifically for this data journey to manually trigger this journey rather than using a specific trigger. Whenever you want to manually trigger a data journey to start that automation process, maybe it's an import, maybe it's a update of a content, whatever you want to decide, this is how it is done. After the triggers comes the actions. Now, these are the actions are definitely, I would say, the elements that you use to define the flow of the journey, how it needs to go. So again, we have the various actions depending upon the journeys and data journeys. The one common thing that we all use within journeys is send email. And then, so for doing this, you can go ahead and simply double click on it, do your settings, give the name and everything. You can also go ahead and select a brand. Content, you can preview the content, use the preview link for if you want to go ahead and give an option for your contacts to be able to view the email in a browser rather than their email platform. Or as I say, for example, Outlook or everything, they should be able to do a browser view of that specific email. So they can go ahead and have that link at the top where it says, if you want to view it in the browser, click here. So this preview link will add that section at the top of the email. Then the language, it goes and decides the language of the footer and the language of the preview link. Then the campaign tags, suppression lists, whatever you want to suppress. Then test email, you can go and do a test email from within the journey itself. So you do not have to send a test campaign to yourself for the content. You can go ahead and do a send test right away. You can go ahead and mention up to 10 email addresses with comma separated values, or select a list which has the maximum, which has a maximum number of contacts is 20. You can go and select that list. Then it's a send SMS. This particular feature is only available when you have the SMS enabled in your account, and you have a mobile enabled, and a unique identifier is set in your account. So the contacts will enter via the email, and then if they have a linked SMS contact in the SMS database, the SMS can be sent. You can go ahead and give a campaign a name, which is for your reference, or the exact message, mobile keywords that you want to use, and then again, apply any contact tags that you want to use. This is like going and personalizing the SMS with the name of the contact or the phone number, anything like that. So you can go ahead and add those settings. Send push messages. This is when you are going ahead and using the push applications within your account. So you need to go and first have that application connected with Maropost account. Then again, giving it a message name, which is for your reference. Select the application for which you are going and doing it, mentioning the message text. If you are going ahead and adding any custom data within your that push message or with the push notification, and these settings. Moving to the next part, this is the HTTP post. This particular element is majorly is used when you want to go ahead and trigger, maybe send information out of Maropost to a specific API URL, or this can also be used to go ahead and trigger specific API calls from within Maropost using the custom payload data. So you can go ahead and do these settings. You mentioned the API URL over here with the headers that are needed for that, and then define the body or the tailor of that specific post. Trigger journey, where if you want to go ahead and trigger other journeys from within this journey. End journey, if you want to go ahead and end a specific journey for a contact, you can go ahead and do that. Change contact field, again, if you can go ahead and update the contact fields using the journeys. Select the specific field and then mention the value that you want it to be updated in that field. That can be done over here. Then change table field, again, similar to the change contact field, changing the value of a specific field within a specific table for a specific contact. Now, this will mention, this is like the name of the table, and then dot. Before the dot, it's the name of the table. After the dot, it's the name of the field that you want to update. You can go ahead and mention the value. It will update those. Change subscription, if you want to go ahead and, so let's say there's a new contact came into your list, and you want it to stay only in that list, and you want it to go ahead and unsubscribe from all the other lists, you can do that. Or if it's in a unsubscribed state and you want to go ahead and subscribe the contact to that specific list, mention the name of the list, and it will go ahead and create the contact in the new list. Then change tags, you can go ahead and change the tag, add or remove the tag. Select the specific tag, and it will add the tag and then remove the tag. Then coming to the data journeys, again, we have various actions over here with the respective data. You can go ahead and do FTP uploads. You can go ahead and upload the files directly onto the FTP folder. Now, before you go ahead and use this element, what we suggest is you go ahead and use the start export element before the FTP upload, so that there is the latest export file available for whatever in list or segment or information that you're trying to upload. So it should be available for you. Then you can go ahead and send campaign, a bulk campaign. For example, let's say you went ahead and imported a huge list into Maropost. As soon as that is done, so what you will like import finished, send campaign. So it will go ahead and trigger the campaign to the whole list in one go. You will not need to go ahead and manually go into Maropost, create a campaign, and then send it to them. So you can automate that process. Start import. You can go ahead and this can be done with file uploaded. Whenever there's a file uploaded on to the FTP folder, you can go and start the import automatically. So this is how you can go and automate your imports into the files. So you need to go and mention the folder where the file is being uploaded on the Maropost FTP. You just need to mention the folder. However, if you're using your own personal FTP folder, you can go ahead and use that by clicking on external FTP, mention the username and password for your FTP folder, give it the host port, the file path, whether it's a secure like FTP, SFTP, FTPS, whichever it is. And then you need to go and mention the delimiter that is used within that file. Now, CSV files can use comma, tab, colon, or semicolon these as a delimiter. So you need to mention which delimiter it is. And then you go to the specific list. You select the list in which you want to go ahead and import the contacts. Similarly, when you're doing a manual import, you have the options of import new contacts, update existing contacts, do not trigger journey campaigns. So you can go ahead and select these. Now, if you want them to trigger the journey campaigns, you can uncheck this. If you want not to trigger journey campaigns, then you can check mark this. Then you do the mapping. You can drop this sample CSV over here and do the mapping. Like which field contains which value, the name of the file, the header name in the file, that needs to be done over here. You need to do the mapping over there. And then you can, similarly, you can do the DNM import, table imports, coupon codes. You can do and automate these processes. Start export. Similarly, if you are like you're doing the import, for exporting, you can go ahead and select which all fields you want to export. All right, and then you can go ahead and select the specific list, whatever fields you are trying to import. You can go ahead and select the date filter here, most recent 24 hours. It will only go and pick up the contacts which were added to that list in the last 24 hours. Similarly, that can be done. And then custom date range, you can go and customize this, like a specific date range, the contacts which added to that list within that specific time frame can be done. Then you can also go ahead and filter the contact by create date or update date. By create, when we choose the create date, whenever the contacts got added to the list, update date, if the contacts got unsubscribed or any information change happened, so that can be done. Now the segment export, again, with the segment export, select the specific fields that you want to go and export, and then you go and select the segment that you want to import, export. You can go ahead and do a do not mail list export, only do not mail list, or the brands do not mail list also. Again, similar options, 24 hours, 7 days, 14 days, and 30 days. There is no option for a custom date range over here. Then the table export, if you are going and selecting a specific table, you go and do that. Then coupon bank export, you can export those. Secure list import, to go ahead and automatically import CSV files into a secure list, that can be done. Then generate reports, you can generate reports. You can go and select a specific report and generate that part. HTTP requests, you can go ahead and automate this by sending HTTP requests to a specific header, and you can go and customize this part over here. Trigger data journeys, and then trigger data journeys, various data journeys from within this journey. And then toggle data journey, which can allow, toggle data journey, It allows you to enable or disable various data journeys when a specific data journey is triggered. You can go and do that. Update content. Now, this specific element allows you to go ahead and duplicate your contacts automatically. Content. Duplicate your content automatically. You can copy the content from one content to another content, or you can go ahead and update the content where it's a, let's say, a copy from URL content. You can go and do that. So you mention the URL over here and then select the specific content. It will go ahead and update that content for you before the campaign is sent out. Send notification. This element is specifically used whenever you are trying to go ahead and send a notification to yourself or to a specific email address. Okay, this data journey has triggered. For example, start import, send notification, import started, and you will get the notification because this import has done. This is for that part. Refresh counts. Again, you can go ahead and refresh the count of the lists once they are imported, or you can go ahead and also refresh the count of the segments within the UI. Toggle journey, you can go ahead and enable and disable normal journeys as well, like the email journeys also. And then SQL query, you can go and select the specific SQL query, and it will go ahead and initiate that query, run that query for you. Then clear field. This is a new element that has been added into data journey. This is basically when you go ahead and do an import, and by mistake, let's say you updated the wrong information in a specific field or a custom field. You can use this part to go ahead and clear that specific field, or there could be a reason where you want to go ahead and empty the data from a specific field on a regular basis. So this can be used for that. After the actions are the filters and the delays. Now, based on the journeys and data journeys offer 4 filters: yes, no, case, split, and A/B. Data journeys only offer split and A/B. Now, coming to the filters, the yes, no filter, it allows you to go ahead and create a divided path for your contacts to follow. So, for example, let's say new subscription come in, you go ahead and start the welcome series, you send them a couple of emails, then you go ahead and check. You want to make sure that you do not keep sending them emails if they are not reading, or if they are not engaging with your emails. You don't want to send them automate the whole welcome series. So you can go ahead and use this particular element, the filter, yes, no. Select a segment. In that segment, select the conditions, did not click or something like that. So it will check the presence of the contact in that segment. And depending upon that, if the contact specifies the conditional segment, it will follow the yes node. If it does not, it will follow the no node. Then comes the second filter, where you want to go ahead and check the presence of the contact in multiple segments. All right, there could be a possibility. You want to go ahead and create multiple legs within your automation. So you can go ahead and select multiple segments over here, and based on that, it will go ahead and create that many legs for the contact to follow. So if it's for fulfilling the needs of this specific segment, it will go to this node. And depending upon, if in case it does not specify any segment, it will go to otherwise. Then split, you can go ahead and split your contacts into multiple flows. By default, it's 50-50, but you can go ahead and bring it up to 10. So we'll create 10 different nodes for the contact to follow. Then A/B split, you can go ahead and add groups, what kind of percentage that particular group needs to follow. And with this, you could actually go ahead and create up to 99 groups in there with 1% each. Then comes And in data journeys, we only have split and A/B split. So with the bulk of data, you can go ahead and do that. Then the last thing is the delays. Now, we have two types of delays. One is a simple delay, which allows you to go ahead and pause, or you can say it allows you to go ahead and halt the contact in a specific automation for a specific period of time. All right. You can mention minutes, hours, days, and months. Now, one thing I would like to go ahead and mention that when you are pausing the contact, it should be at least for what we recommend. For your testing purposes, it should be around 15 minutes. That is for testing purposes. Ideally, you should go ahead and use a delay like an hour or so. So it gives you enough time spread in between the contacts so that they can go and follow the delay of the whole process in a different way. So it gives the time for the system to record contacts engagement with your email campaigns. That's what it is for. Then comes the delay until. Now this is a delay which this is used for a specific time frame or a specific date and time. With delay until, we have three different options available. First is date and time. You will go ahead and, for example, let's say there is a specific webinar session happening on a specific date, right? So you go ahead and select that date, and you go ahead and halt the journey up till that part. And after that, you go ahead and check. You check for the feedback. You create an automated email to go ahead and send it to be sent out to the contacts to check their engagement, how that webinar went, or how that happened. Now, in this case, whenever a contact enters this particular delay, it will, if the date is in future, it will wait till this date and time. However, if this date and time has already passed, it will simply ignore it and move to the next step. Then comes the rolling delay, where it is, for example, like every day, if it's like Monday or Tuesday, you can go and select the day of the week. Now, in this, whatever time you have selected, let's say if it's for every day 9 a.m. If the contact enters the journey, let's say at 10 a.m., or it reaches this specific delay until element at, let's say, today at 8 a.m., and it will wait till 9 a.m., then it will move to the next part, the next step. However, if it enters this specific, or reaches the specific delay until at 9:01, it will wait till the next day or the next Monday or the next day of the week that you've selected. It will wait till that to move to the next element. Then you can also go ahead and select an event delay. This is specifically for, as I was saying, if you want to go and send reminder emails for your webinar, or you want to go, there is some specific offer going on or some sale going on, you want to go and market that part. So what you can do is you can go ahead and select this kind of delay, and you can go and select before or after, depending upon your decision how you want to go about it, and then select the specific custom field, which is a date time custom field. Please make a note of that. This should be a date time custom field. And so whatever fields that are date time custom fields will be listed in this drop down. You can select that specific part, and you can it will go ahead and halt the contacts or pause the contacts in this element up till the settings that you've done. So these are the delays, and this is the similar kind of delays which are available in data journeys as well. And then the end. So any questions we have from anyone? All right, guys. So this is it for me for today, for the to go and give you information on all the elements. And this is how you can go ahead and reach us. These are the contact information for us, for the support and everything. To reach out to the success managers, you can either email directly to your success managers with your email address, or you can go ahead and email us at the success@maropost.com. So this is all from my side. Thank you for your time and have a great day ahead.